It had been a long time since Tom felt this alive or this important. Kneeling on the shag carpet, Tom removed the black satin bundle from his messenger bag. He looked at the money and began to weep.
Breaking news.
When FBI agents arrive at a crime scene, they start with the details. How a suspect was dressed and acted, what was said, how a note was written, whether a weapon was brandished, and so on. All these pieces fit together to create what a former special agent William Redler calls a signature. A suspect wearing one glove was dubbed the Michael Jackson Bandit. The Attila the Band Bandit kept her hair short in top knot. The Clear Seal Bandit cheeks were dotted with acne. The Benihana Bandit gesticulated with a butcher knife. The Chevy Chase Bandit was naturally absurdly clumsy. It will be many months before Tom Justice will ever be considered for a nickname by the FBI. Armed robbers and violent offenders are the agency's top priority. And Tom had perpetrated just one nonviolent note job for a haul of $5,580. He wasn't going to draw heat, especially when the FBI was handling a record 171 bank robberies in the Chicago area in 1998. For now, Tom would stay under the radar, and he took precautions to keep it that way. A few days after his robbery in Libertyville, Tom tossed his wig into the dumpster behind the Ravenswood apartment he now only sometimes shared with Laura. Ever since the Foreign Legion, Tom had established a non-committal pattern of coming and going. One night, he'd crash with Laura. The next, his folks. For months, the $5,580 sat in a gym bag inside the closet of his old room at his parents' house. Tom assumed the bills were traceable, so he kept only two $20 as souvenirs. He separated the remaining cash into brown lunch sacks. Late one night, he tossed them into the dumpster behind a few fast food restaurants. On 27th October 1999, nearly 1 year to the day after his first robbery, Tom hit the Lake Forest branch of Northern Trust. He wore a similar disguise and used his bike to escape with $3,247. This time, he put the $20 and $100 bills into paper bags and discarded them in alleys where he knew homeless people would find them. He took all the $2 bills and hid them in the bushes outside his apartment. The Eastern European superintendent had 2 kids who used to play in the courtyard. Tom watched from his second-floor living room window as they discovered the money and screamed and giggled. Robbing banks and giving away money was intoxicating. Tom saw himself as both mischievous and righteous. But as time passed, that feeling faded. Tom's real life seemed mediocre and unfulfilling. He wrestled with depression, and so he returned to the one thing that would instantly lift his spirits. On 14th January 2000, Tom pulled his third bank robbery, the LaSalle Bank in Evanston. The teller, a tall 50-year-old woman, was neither frightened nor cooperative. "Are you serious?" she said, cocking her head. She glared at Tom as he slid the bag across the counter. Reluctantly, she filled it with all the cash in her drawer, $2,599. Thank you very much," Tom said politely. She shook her head disapprovingly. As the harsh winter winds blew off Lake Michigan, the streets became icy and impossible to navigate by bike. Cooped up that January, Tom brooded miserably, unable to shake the realization that at 29, his window of opportunity to become a world-class cyclist had nearly passed. If he wanted to pursue his Olympic dream, he had to do it now. By the time he told Laura he was moving to Southern California to train for the Olympic trials, his plans were already in motion. He had arranged to move into a house with an old college cycling buddy who lived near the San Diego Velodrome. Tom had won enough races to retain his classification as a Category 1 cyclist. That's the highest of 5 groupings, and so he would automatically qualify for the trials. All he'd had to do was to show up and race. Laura was skeptical of Tom's sudden urge to dive back into racing. But maybe if he made this one last push for the Olympics, he could then get on with his life. So she loaned him her mom's blue Honda Accord to drive to California. When Tom arrived, he looked into the mirror and told himself, "I'm not going to rob any more banks."